Hey,
Hey man,
what's up, dude?
the last time we talked, we talked about your travels in Spain, and we left off. And I'm mentioning this right from the get because I don't want us to forget. We left off talking about one of your recent ayahuasca journeys and how it led to like a non-dual kind of realization.
Well, I'm excited to share with you because it's you know, that one that the one time that you and I were doing we're chatting and you led me through some inquiry, and I had that moment, like a period of time where my self just blipped out. It was just gone, and it was the most plain, ordinary experience ever, except for the fact that I wasn't there. There
Hmm.
was no I. It was just experience, and there was thoughts, but there was no thinker. It was just ever since then I've been hooked on like non-dual meditation practices. And so I've been using Sam Harris's app, Waking Up,
Yeah, it's a
which
good
is
one.
actually kind of it's cool too because
You sneeze, you cough the screen sideways.
and even though I haven't quite had as a dramatic experience since then, I've had little moments, and it's he the way he describes it is like so like especially with open eye meditation, looking at an object, and then a split second, RO even helps like snapping, like in the snap, looking back to see who's looking, he said it's not something that's found through enduring effort, but it's just a snap, it's just a momentary glimpse of feeling, of seeing that nothing's there. And so I've been doing that very frequently, and during my day and when I'm talking to people, even just even now checking in with that. And it's only for just little tiny blips do I get that same feeling and recognition that like there is nothing and no one there at all. And so that's been on my mind. And then heading into ceremony, I'm like, you know, how does this fit in? Like, and really, I was wrapped up in a lot of fear, um, just because of like the intensity, like it's so intense sometimes.
Yeah,
And
very.
and um one of the facilitators prior to the ceremony was saying like just sharing some stuff, and she mentioned like some people say like all I could do was show up, and she's like that's it, that's all you need to do, that's everything. Like with a ceremony and working with the medicine, everything is showing up. That's all of it. It's all you have to show. You don't have to do anything more than just show up. And so laying there or sitting there, and a lot of fear kept on coming up because it was this, and it was ultimately like the fear of ego death, or the ego dying. And my mind was running so much about like, oh, maybe I have to get in this position, or oh, maybe I'm gonna purge, and then what if everyone's like listening to me, or why am I, why is this song making me feel like I have to purge? And then my hips started moving, and it was this very fine balance of like allowing the medicine to work and not fighting it, but also not trying too hard to make anything happen. And then it just hit a point where I couldn't control it anymore. My mind was just so afraid, it's just so avoidant of whatever it was just resisting it so hard. And the intention I held to myself was just to like be kind to it and just let whatever happen happen. And I was huddled up, and my whole body was shaking. And then it was like my whole body was shaking, and then my whole body mind just like shook apart like decorated folded paper, and it
Mm.
just unraveled and opened up. And I was, you know my soul, I was made of color and light, and everything around me was made of color and light, and I was in this like brilliant, like maroon and blue and purple technicolor orbed light space, that was the ceremony space, and everyone else was made of light too. And I just kept on saying to myself like, oh, I forgot,
Mhm.
it's so good to let go. It's so
Yeah.
good. And it's so free. Like I just kept on saying over and over, I forgot. It's totally safe. And it kind of reminds me of the Ram Dass quote, like it's totally safe to die. It's like it's natural, you know. And it was just like I forgot. I totally
Wow.
forgot. And it was just beautiful, and it was exactly what I needed. And it just showed me, or at least showed my body mind, like I don't have to fear ayahuasca. I don't have to fear anything with ceremony, especially if I have good facilitators, which I always have. But like, and I can, and so it just showed me that like I can always trust that process of letting go. And it was amazing, and it was brilliant and beautiful. And then I had to go pee, but then I stepped outside and the stars were just insane. I could like kind of see spirits walking around on the property because it was out in like the woods and stuff. It was just one of the most beautiful, amazing ceremony experiences ever, for a number of reasons. Like another one part that was really beautiful was, you know, the facilitators were singing their Icaros, and then one of them sang a different song. There's this big, you know, lots of action happening. And then when they stopped singing, literally like 2 or 3 owls and a whole pack of coyotes started singing after that, all at once, after the facilitator stopped singing.
Wow.
And it was just, yeah, and it was just so cool because it was just like the animals and the land were celebrating that we were in ceremony there. And it was just, we were in complete connection and union with everything around us. It was so cool. But the thing that really got me for connecting me to non-dual stuff was, you know, after my body mind had kind of let go and unraveled, eventually came back in, and it was tired and like very vulnerable and overwhelmed, and so I didn't push anything. I just kind of rode with the rest of ceremony, just taking care of myself however I needed. But my mind would get into these stories of like, oh, what should I do next? Or what, you know, do I need to like let go again? Or what do I need to do? And just like asking all these questions. And I would just kind of watch my mind think. And I'm like, I'm here. That's all I need to do. I'm here. Like I showed up. I'm here. And then my mind would kind of let go of the story. And then my mind would kind of start freaking out again, you know, get triggered by some sort of visual or whatever. Like, oh, do I need to do this, or is this wrong? And it's like this, and ask like, you know, oh, I think I need to sit up, or I need to lay down, or I should be doing this. And I'm like, I'm here. All I need to do. I showed up. And it was just like, it just sitting, responding to my mind after it wrapped all these stories around it, around whatever I was experiencing, just showed me, like, it just became very clear when the mind is getting in the way. And so in that aspect of non-dual, of like seeing it as an object, another object, in awareness, and that it needs to do a lot less than it thinks it needs to do. You know, like it doesn't need to do as much as it thinks it needs to. Which I'm still figuring out, and has been like looking for apartments and stuff for Santa Cruz and stuff has been really stressful. I think that's why I got sick. But and you know, trying to figure out my life path and all this bullshit, and you know, am I making the right decision, and just you know, coming back to that and letting it all go, and just tending to whatever needs to be tended to in front of me, which I'm glad we're talking about this, because it's like I'm almost saying it for myself moving forward, you know.
Totally.
And then the other part was like looking back on the experience, and you know, the whole like unfolding of the self is that even in these like grand visionary experiences and transcendent experiences, and I didn't have my body mind, it was still that clear open awareness was always there. You know, didn't matter if my body's made of flasher of light, awareness was still awareness. And that's not, it wasn't some grand revel. It wasn't even like ayahuasca was trying to show me that. So I thought that was really cool. It was like, it's just so persistent and so consistent. You know, it's never not that.
Exactly.
And even in those moments of shedding the self, it's still the most plain, nothing thing. But is like, but that itself seems significant.
Totally. It's so funny that when you were describing the ineffable, it started glitching. It started glitching out. I don't even know how much of it came through. I knew exactly what you were saying the whole time, but it was like blipping through the entire story. And which is super funny because, you know, it's the ineffable. You know, it can't really be described. But like you were getting so close that you were singeing the wires or something.
Totally. Yeah. My iPad started smoking.
That's awesome though, dude. Thank you for sharing. That's super beautiful. And I know that
yeah.
I feel comfortable saying this because I know that you're perceptive and self-aware enough to not let your ego grab hold of it. But I think the world absolutely needs teachers like you, teachers that don't want to be teachers. It's the teachers that want to be teachers that like probably shouldn't be teachers because they're in it for their ego. It's the people that are thrust into the sharing of knowledge, not by their choice, but because they have been given something, or something is shining through them that is just so pristine that it can't not be shared. And like what you think you are and your person self, your whatever your plans you might have, that you can't fuck with destiny. Like there's just things that will come through. And like you said, maybe you won't do it in this life. If you don't do it in this life, it'll just be a theme that just kind of rolls over into maybe the next one, and then it either comes through or doesn't at that point. But you can't stop light from shining. Like eventually the light, pure light, comes through the clouds, and the mind is just the cloudiness that kind of like distorts the perception of the pristine isness that is always there. And I know that you know that. Mm-hmm. And I know that you don't let the fog become some sort of ego warp of that pristine light. And so the world needs teachers like you. And so I appreciate you sharing that story. I know it takes like a very like visceral, intense sense of vulnerability to like share things that feel at first against your nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate you listening and hearing the story, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Thank you. But there's this one yoga teacher dude who does Ashtanga, who leads Ashtanga at the gym, and we were talking about it today. We were talking about, like, you know, how not many people get it, and I was like I don't know. Before it clicked for me, my mind hated it, and it would just like thought it was the most annoying shit to hear ever. Totally. And then I like woke up to it, and then he said something like, but yeah, and then it's like realization that the awake part was always awake. It never wasn't awake, and there's nothing that the mind can do about it because there's nothing. Yeah, it's like helpless to that.
Totally.
I'm not helpless, but yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, and yeah, helpless is a fine word, because like it's just like, yeah, it's just not even there. So somehow when you like really actually look at it, you see that it's nothing. It was never there. And so how could that light ever be distorted? And then you look back at reality and you're like, oh, it's not. It just looks like all of this, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I really love you haven't done 5-MeO yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
Do you have any desire to?
No, not really.
Well, what you described is very close.
That scares me.
Yeah, I mean it should, because you die. Like that's actually one of my favorite like when somebody says like they're not sure if they've truly like if they've had a true awakening, or if it's just like a new concept that they're gaining. And like one of the testers that's really good is at just asking yourself, are you afraid to die? And if you're afraid to die at all, then there's still a contraction of energy that's holding on to a
totally.
sense of self. And so like that, it's just a good barometer. It's a good measuring tool. Like, are you afraid of death? And if there's absolutely no fear that like viscerally wells up, either in because like it can well up, either mentally, cognitively in your mind, or it can well up in your body, and you can have like a visceral reaction to it, and like like an just like a body opposition to it. But that clears out if you've had a significant enough awakening. And like it's 5-MeO DMT is worthy to be afraid of, because it clears you out and you have no choice. There's no choice in the matter. Like you said, you just show up.
I think I'm a little less afraid to die after my last ceremony experience, but it's still there. For sure.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to
fear of dying there.
It's good to really look, because like if you don't really look, you don't really know. And like it's easy to say, no, I'm not afraid of death, fuck that, like whatever will happen, like the ego will even get involved and say stuff like that and be like, no, I'm not fucking afraid, so you got to really look at it and see if it's all there.
Totally. I have been doing this thing lately, especially when I've been impatient or irritable. I've been pretending like I'm gonna die at the end of the day. So this is my last day, and that's made. I've only done it a handful of times, but the result of it, like, it makes problems really small. Dude. And it makes like patience easier.
Dude, I do almost the exact same practice. If there's some sort of like, I feel a tension or something that like is undesirable, like I'll be at work and like just about ready to go home, and I'm like, oh yeah, Takara's cooking dinner, and all of a sudden there will be a construction crew that'll be like, oh, we're gonna stay late, we'll go till 7, and that's another like 3 hours from then. I'm like, god damn it. So like but like I've been doing a similar practice where it's like, okay, what if I died today, and I was given the option to go back to this specific moment in time? Would I take it? And it's always, yes, of course, the taste of even grief is delicious. Like the taste of even like the worst thought imaginable, the worst reality possible. There's a deliciousness in just like the feeling, and just feeling. And so then automatically it dissolves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. The deliciousness of grief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Like, I know we've talked about like when Jake died a bunch of times, and maybe I've said this to you directly or not, but it really did feel like a grace when he died. And that's so weird to say, of course, but like when he died, I felt like I rode the wave of ascension into just the abyss with him, and similarly to like these ceremonies, I had no choice. Like it wasn't something that like I chose to do. It was an energetic thing that just welled up, like this grief just welled up, overcame me, and that like it felt like contraction to the max of just grief, and a density of just pain that just was like welled up and then just released. and
Mm.
and it was the explosion of grief. So like I really describe it as like the grace of grief like brought me through.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I shared that with you directly or not in that way.
No, I don't think so. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's so many flavors of reality that like, as long as you're if you have some sort of like opposition to any of them, you don't really taste them. Like you push them away, you know, and like the pushing away is the tension of suffering that creates suffering. You know, it is that suffering is that tension of pushing your current experience away. Whereas if it's a full embrace, you taste the suffering viscerally, and it's actually pretty tasty.
This is similar, but not the same. There's moments where, as I look inward, I almost see the mask that the ego's wearing. Not the mask. It's like a mask or a character, and it's this experience of like, you know, I might be impatient and irritable about something someone else is doing, and then I'll just check in, and I see the character of like those emotions. It's like all the characters, my essence is playing, and it's just this like objective observation of it, and it's like all these different flavors of Luke. It really breaks the stickiness of it, where it's like, before looking in, that's just my experience, and I'm kind of blind to what it feels like and what it looks like, because I'm just in it. It just is what I am. And then I look inward, and then I see it, and I'm like, most of the time, like especially if I'm like irritated or impatient or whatever, and I look back and I see the character that it's playing, and then I can see it objectively, and it just kind of is like funny, and there's like an acceptance of that, and then it just ends, and then it goes away, and it just, can I get what I'm saying?
Totally. I've had many experiences like that of doubling back on the mask of ego, especially, and like the character play, like and going back into it and being like, okay, this like the rejection of your character is one of the worst things you can do, you know, because it just creates suffering. Like, I think that's really important when you're entering into like non-dual realization too, because like people can think that, oh, now I have to speak softly, you're like, now I have to wear all white, or like, you know, there's all these like character tropes that like seep in, and like some of like you like for me initially there was a pushing away of all of that. I was like, that's so fucking corny, like I'm gonna just, you know, however it speaks through me is how it speaks through me, and then I was like, wait, no, now that I'm sharing this with people, like that's how I would have conversations and, you know, face to face, but now that I'm sharing with people I don't even know, I need to be more respectful. I need to like speak more softly. And then there was like another, like a doubling back.
You're doing the same shit again.
Totally, exactly. And so there's a doubling back on that character, and I was like, wait, no, it doesn't matter how this shines through. Just as long as you stay as that pristine essence of isness, and just let however it shines. Like right now, there's a real visceral sense that like I have nothing to do with what's speaking right now. Like I really am even right now, just where that light of isness is, just where that light of beingness is, and all of this is just kind of happening, and I no longer have a problem with it, and I don't know how it's going to happen next. Like I don't know how this is going to unfold. I don't even know my next words. I don't know what's going to be said next. Like this is just like the radiance that comes through this character, and I don't fight this character anymore.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
It's
I love that the hell yes, we still keep those fucking things alive.
oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah, dude.
It's so good. Are you drinking coffee right now?
Yeah.
Dude,
What?
aren't you go bed soon?
Oh no, I'm probably
Like,
no, it's only
you
like
drinking
five.
coffee at nighttime?
Yeah, sometimes it's only 5:30 here, and like a lot of times, like I do my meditations between like when Takara goes to sleep, and it's just me and the dogs, and I'll just be on the couch, and yeah, I don't know. It does, and then I can just
Drinking
go, and then
coffee at 5:30 at night.
dude, I can drink a full thing of coffee and go straight to bed. I'm not even kidding you.
Dude, you're wild. I cannot. The other thing, so when you were talking about, like, oh, if I'm talking non-dual stuff, then I have to be this way or that way. Really, it's just in letting whatever is be. There was a question or an inquiry that came up in one of the guided meditations from Sam Harris, waking up, and he said something like, predict your next thought. And I was like, I can't predict a thought, because even if I'm thinking, because I can't think it before I think it, it's always just arising. And then I felt it, but then he also said it was like, there can be an intention felt, of like an intention arising before a thought is said. But again, it's like the intention out of nowhere, and it might be arising out of nowhere in response to something, but it's still coming out of nothing,
Totally.
And from ceremonies, I've seen myself thinking before I speak, and the feeling of not wanting to do that. But at the same time, it's all spontaneous anyway. Right?
Yes.
It's fucking weird. It trips me out so hard, and it's just the weirdest thing. And then it's just this like big up with nothing. like what am I?
Yeah.
And it's mysterious, and I have no idea why I'm here. Like, where are these? What is a fucking thought? I don't know. I have no idea. I can say things about, oh, it's like energy. I don't know what the fuck it is even.
Bro, it's happening again. As soon as you start saying something that is ineffable, your fucking connection drops out. It's so funny.
That's really funny.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I was just saying because like the internet connection is like hilariously playing with our dialogue right now. But either way,
I know.
So when it comes to like where you want to sit, you go to that place like Sam Harris said, you go to that place where you try to predict a thought is one way of doing it, and you come up with nothing, right? And like you said, all these thoughts are coming in from nothing and disappearing back into nothingness, and it's that nothingness that you want to sit in. That nothingness is like the marination of the absolute. Like that is where you become grace prone. That is where you become open to the mystical, the magical, the mysterious, because that is beyond mind. That's the place beyond mind, and that's where biblical things happen. You know what I mean? That's where that pure light of radiance is allowed to shine through, because there's nothing. It's you're in the nothingness. You've entered into the void, and in that space, like that's where you sit if you want a non-dual awakening. There's nothing more to happen. Like we were also talking about how like the momentum or the energy of the seeker is constantly wanting some new cookie or some new adventure or some new path to go on, some new book or some new video or some new teacher, some like, oh, I'm going to be enlightened after the next meditation. You know, I'm going to be enlightened after the next YouTube video. You know what I mean? There's always something new that it thinks if I could just get there, then I'll have an awakening, then I'll become enlightened. But no, it's sitting here in that space of absolute nothingness from which all things arise, that you sit and you don't do anything. There's no more seeking. You put the seeking self down and you just sit in that emptiness of pure radiance. And I say pure radiance because you've probably seen in your ayahuasca journeys, and I know I've seen in my 5-MeO journey, there's this space that you can only describe as the pure self-luminous isness. Like it's not even a color. It's not even like a black or blue void. It's not even like a pure white void. It's colorless but luminous. And it's that place that I enter into meditation thanks to fucking coffee, because oftentimes when I used to come up to that space of a space of pure nothingness, my body mind would literally shut off. It would just turn off, and I would catch myself going like this in a baby nod, and I'd catch myself like this, coming back, like popping back out of meditation, because like my body mind just kind of shut down and fell asleep. And so in order to give the body mind the rigidity and awareness to like just stick with it, you know, just you know, the body has been given energy so that you know the system doesn't shut down, so that the seer can turn back on the seer, consciousness folding back upon itself without shit blipping out, without the body mind just completely going to sleep and shutting down, which is what would happen to me. But now, you know, I not now, even when I walk around in daily life, like it's just that. But
it happens.
But like in meditation, it's just that and nothing else. Like nothing else exists. And so when the mind has nothing to grab onto, no cookies, it can shut off. but yeah, that's where I go to in meditation. That's the only place that I encourage people or try to lead people to, if their true desire is to have a real non-dual awakening into the fact that there is no separation between anything, because there is only one thing.
What it's so funny, because like when I first, so before I had that blipping out of self, when you and I were talking, I kind of would have a connection with that empty space and just acknowledging it. But then so often my mind would think, so what? You know, like, I don't know, whatever.
Because like you said earlier, it's totally ordinary.
And then I would see similarities between like other practices of like, oh, I think that's how, you know, my facilitators, that's the space they're sitting in ceremonies of deciding, you know, what songs to sing or what prayer, who needs prayers. It's in that space that they are attuned to doing, like being in the flow, like the Tao, like knowing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. It's like, okay, so then my mind started using it as a tool. Like, oh, that's like, you know, Dispenza's quantum realm space, is that nothingness. It's like, oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's really just to use this to get to something. That was what my mind would say.
Totally.
And then
I've been there too.
And even like Eckhart Tolle would say, like, you know, if you want to manifest, you have to be in that space. But he goes, eventually you just want to be in that space anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what you get, you just want that space. I'm like,
yes.
But after I've had that,
what about it? Boneless or traditional? All right, get whatever flavors. I like them. I like all the flavors. Yeah. All right, sorry.
what kind of wings are you getting?
I don't know. Whatever
all flavors,
I guess. All flavors. All
Dude,
flavors are good.
I've never had Wingstop before I visited you guys, and then after that, I just fucking in Fort Collins, I got them like once a week. I had them at your guys' house.
Yeah, dude. Wingstop's pretty clutch. It's nice that you just order like some fucking dope wings on delivery. It's like you just know exactly what they're gonna be, what you're gonna get. It's nice. Mine loves knowing what it's gonna get. That's why it loves McDonald's.
Totally. Exactly. I was thinking about that today too. I was like, how people like Starbucks is the only place they go or whatever, because mine fucking loves to know what it's gonna get. And I used to like look down at people about that or judge them or judge myself, and it's like, no, I totally get it. It's like it wants a thing of comfort to know, especially now, like so much shit, crazy shit's going on. Like to have something familiar feels good.
Totally,
it's fine.
Totally.
But what I was saying was, after that experience, then it does have a gravity where I was like, oh, I don't know, I just want to, like, part of me wants to chase it and be like, oh yeah, I want to blip out again. That felt good. But then just also curious of getting interested in it. And now, like, whether I blip out or not, like, I started kind of feeling into what it feels like to relax into that space of nothing. And so I'm not I don't have it I wanted to say I don't have it figured out, but it's really like I haven't recognized. It's like I can kind of acknowledge. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how to put words on it.
The mind's trying to do it again.
Also, mind's trying to do what?
Trying to get it.
Story around it? Yeah, trying to have it. Exactly.
Yeah, trying to have it, trying to get it, trying to make it a predictable thing.
Totally. Absolutely.
That's you clearing house. That, like, you recognizing that is like clearing just another barrier out. Like, they're really boiling out of you. If you've been there, you've gone into the hottest part of the fire, and you have, and so things boil out a lot quicker. Like, all these things will come out, like emotions, thoughts, ideas, concepts, things, but just they're just gonna boil out. So you might think that, like, oh, I'm regressing, I'm all I must be going in the wrong direction because all these things are boiling up to the surface. But no, you've just entered into the hottest part of the fire, so things are happening more rapidly. Things are boiling up and out more rapidly. Just don't hold on or follow any of them, and they'll just disappear back into nothing.
Totally. Yep, absolutely. It is crazy though. Intuition and like magic senses totally fired up when being after, even not when I'm in that space, but just like if I'm in the practice regularly, it's just, yeah, it's like a whole nother sense. Just like, oh, so-and-so is going to text me, and then they do. It's like, oh, I think, and now it's even like, oh, sent in my application for my rent, and I'm pretty sure that I felt when the woman who was like debating whether or not to accept my application or not. like I almost, I don't know if it's true, but it's the same kind of feeling that I had when other people would like call me or text me when they popped up in my head or whatever. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, and those things happen more and more. Like, synchronicities become really fucking synchronous, and like all sorts of things start happening around you. And like Ramana Maharshi would always talk about this, and like people would be like, praise him for like having weird things happen around him, like seeming miracles. But like he was always like, that's nothing. That's still just part of the play. It's still just part of the play.
Oh yeah, totally. Still objects arising.
Still, yeah. Even though the mind isn't necessarily like used to those types of synchronicities occurring, it's still just a play. The play of being.
Absolutely. That makes sense. fun though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and when you're that transparent, like when you've really burned everything off by sitting in that just pure light of beingness, pure light of existence, you re-enter into the play as nothing, and it just is like everything is just kind of like in a mysterious unfoldment that's really enjoyable because there's no longer any stress or friction happening within the experience, or like if there is stress or friction, it's still just part of the play and like not given any importance, and not any more importance than like anything else, any other part of the play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really is called liberation for a reason, and it's a real possibility for everybody, which is, you know, some people just need to hear that because it's not some crazy thing. It's the most ordinary thing, but it's a thing that people just have never looked at, never thought to look at. And so it's awesome having these conversations, and because it's like an invitation for people to be like, wait, I can look back and try to see what is looking right now. Like I don't have to wait. Like you don't have to wait to die to meet God. You can find where it all comes from right in your direct experience right now.
What's funny is like I've seen a handful of quotes from the Upanishads and quotes from like masters, and something you just said right now. And for some reason, I used to think it was like metaphorical. No, it's literal. It's so literal. It's literally looking out and then looking back.
It's literal.
Literal.
Yeah.
It was the fucking funniest thing ever to me.
Wait,
like,
they really meant it?
Mystic. Yeah, they really meant it. It's like, no, just literally do that.
Yeah. Totally.
I just think is the funniest fucking thing ever, and it's not metaphorical. It's literal.
The cosmic joke, baby. There it is. Punchline.
No kidding. It's so bizarre to me. But no, I get it. I actually prefer meditating with a cup of coffee. 100%. Because my mind is just steadier.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
There's like a necessary alertness that's required if you're going to be vigilant about finding the space from where the seer sees.
What's hard for me, and this is, or I mean, what I've noticed is like, so if I apply like a lot of intention to things I'm trying to get done in my life, or like, let's say vigilance and meditation, I notice it comes with a contraction. So staying expanded, but like energized or focused, that it's because focused is contraction. You know what I mean? So it's like this weird, I feel like I'm always like, it's this oscillation I haven't quite figured out. You know, I even do it in weightlifting too. Like, you know, there's this thing in weightlifting, there's this strength coach, I think his name's Pavel Tatsuin. He says, lift heavy, not hard. And I felt that doing like split squats once. I was like really trying to lift hard, and I just couldn't do it. And then I remembered like, oh yeah, do qigong while lifting. And so I was just super relaxed, and I just shot right up because I was getting in my own way of lifting the weight. And so I've been trying to figure out how to do that in life, of like be productive, do my shit, but also stay open, you know, because if I get like too productive and too focused, then it's like I get contracted, and sometimes I get this like mind or being cramp where then it like clenches down, and it's like, you know, when you're holding onto a bar or holding onto something really tight, and then you have to, like, when you want to let go, you have to almost peel it off. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yep.
So it's like I'm trying to figure out how to stay soft and open when taking action, and that kind of reminds me of this, of like vigilant and alert, but not contracted.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're never the one that contracts. You're just the illumination of the one that contracts. Like there's a contraction, but it happens within that isness. If you just remain as isness, contraction happens, but for nobody, there's nothing. It has nothing to do with you. Like it happens. I work out 3 days a week too, and I've also incorporated this into my work.
Oh, you work out? Damn.
You can't tell, but so like in,
shit, dude.
like you're saying, like mid rep, like I'll really investigate into the sense of struggle and be like, where is it? And then there's just nothing, but there's still the reps happening. Like the reps, I'm looking in at it. I'm going into the middle of it and looking around and being like, there's no one here that's struggling. Like there's no where is the strain? Like this is all just happening. It's all just happening. Like when you go into something, it disappears. Like it's not there. Like you just so like when you're doing those reps, like investigate. Wait, okay, first who's doing these reps? And like where is he or where is it that? Where is that? And then okay, there's just a sense of energy here doing these reps. Okay, where is that energy? And then go into the middle of that, and then okay, you looking around. What is the sensation? What is the sense? And where is it? And you go to where you might feel that to be, and then everything just kind of like is like, oh, like beingness is like, okay, you got me, and just like bursts back out into just pure like mysterious isness. But the reps keep happening, like everything just keeps happening, and that's like flowing with the divine will of life. You know, that's flowing. Not that there is a divine, and not that there is a will, but it's like I think you can pick up what I'm saying. Like there's that's just what the radiance is doing, and you're just the radiance, and they're still doing, but there's no doer. They're still happening, but there's no like thing it's happening to and with. Like there's no duality anywhere when you really investigate it, but yet it all just still happens. So you just have to trust, I guess, and I guess the like the old religious term for trust is faith. And so you know you just have faith that you can trust this. This is safe, like you said earlier. This is safe. You're safe here, and in fact you're more than safe. It's the full embrace of wholeness as whatever arises.
Absolutely. And that's and that welcomes all.
Yes.
All of it.
All of it. Rejects nothing.
Yeah. Never rejects.
Hell yeah. That's good, man.
There's this one part in this little qigong series I like doing, and do you want to try it?
Yes, please.
So rub your hands together, and then usually it's like I do this part near the end of the series, and then now rub your big knuckles together. And then the next knuckles. And then the fingernails. And then bring your hands together. And then when you inhale, move them apart. And then you exhale, bring them closer together. And then just let follow your breath back and forth. And you might feel like tingliness. It might feel like magnets, like they're pulling and pushing. Do you feel that?
Absolutely.
So that's like in the little sequence, it's feeling the field of chi around the body. And it said that it's recognizing, like feeling the chi, the field of chi around the body balances yin and yang energies. And what's been happening a lot lately is I feel the field of chi, and then I feel the chi in my body, in my hands. And in the beginning, what felt like solid and energy eventually just all feels the same anyway. And then it doesn't feel like my body is any different than everything that is anyway.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. When you go into it, it becomes everything.
Yeah, it's everything. There is no separation. And it's not even conceptual. It's the experience of it.
Totally. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's another doorway. It's another doorway. It's new to me. Doorways everywhere.
That's what I love. There's literally doorways everywhere. It's so cool.
It really is.
It's like awesome. I love finding more doorways. I don't know why. It's just like a fun thing to do. It's like, oh yeah, it's here too.
Yeah.
It's always been here everywhere because it's always there everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everything.
It's an open invitation to isness constantly.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
How cool that I don't know. We were buddies and we
Clearly destiny in this lifetime for this to happen.
For sure.
And of course I have no plan for it. How could I? Like it's just the ever unfolding mystery. So whatever becomes of it, becomes of it. So when you feel internal prompts or whatever to, step into those roles that you saw yourself becoming, just trust or faith, whatever you prefer.
Yeah. It's far more interesting to step into the unknowns than to stay in the unknowns, or to stay in the knowns, At some point it's just like, oh yeah, it's more of the same. And then stepping into the unknown, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So much more interesting.
Even the mundane things, like what you would consider normal daily routines, like if you really investigate them, it's a doorway into just this. And it's like then becomes every moment becomes the most auspicious moment. It's the unfolding mystery, ever present, timeless. It's just a story that's time bound.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your willingness to sit in it too. Like every time like I feel us walking through the door together, like there's an acknowledgement that we're here and that we just sit. I really like that. Not like, because a lot of times when I lead people here, like I try to kind of walk them through into this space, as soon as they step through, they'll ask a question, or like the mind will be like have some sort of narrative about it. And so it's nice that like you don't, but like it, not everybody's mind cooperates as well as yours does.
It definitely pops stuff up, but I just been watching it, watching the mind pop things up, and then watching them float away.
That's the practice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Love you, man.